putting subs behind the subs to, create a cardio kind of effect to try and get some of that bass off the house and out into the yard.
W5CBO. Well, so what kind of board are you?
Well, I'm just using a small mixing board, but I'm using all drive racks and it's like the DBX drive racks for all the tuning.
All right, yeah. We have the DBX drive racks and all that. But most of the bands nowadays, all the country bands around Dallas-Fort Worth are all going to the, like the Behringer, wing rack and some of their stuff, and then the Midas, some of the, if you want to spend some more money, Midas, Allen and Heath, QSC is popular with a lot of bands because in a very small package, you've got everything you need, and then of course you can save the scene for each venue you play at. So you come back, everything is there because that's how you left it, and that's kind of neat. Plus, the apps that are available now for each musician, so not even have to talk to the sound man and say, I need a little less guitar, I need a little more of this, more of that, or less that, and I need some bottom end taken off and some sand it. You can do it all yourself, and boy, that's the cat's meow there, W5CBO.
Yeah, KL7Y. Well, like I said, everything I'm running here is secondhand, probably 10 to 15 years old, or I do run active mains and all that stuff. I'm using big QSC stuff for that, but for all the low stuff, I've got big JBL 728, the dual 18s. I've got 2 of those boxes. I'm driving those with 6,000 watts apiece, and then I've got some mid-range horn subs that I play with. Stuff that's some Sherwin Vegas stuff. Those are probably 30 years old. But they look cool, and everybody thinks, man, those are going to really do nuts. But they're actually more of a poppy kind of bass than down low, like what the 728s do. But again, it's like 10,000, 20,000 watts out there, and you're still going, yeah, this just isn't good enough. But I'm not doing anything with live music. I'm just doing basically just like DJing with this stuff. And I don't go anywhere with it. That's how bad I'm wrapped up in this stuff. I just do it for fun in my own backyard, and half the time there's not any more than 20 people there. But it's a hobby, It's just something that I like playing with, and the more I mess around with it, the more I learn about the complexities of it, and it's really cool. There's a lot of science behind it. It's like ham radio, It's every time you turn a corner, you find something new and cool you want to learn about.
Oh, absolutely. W5CBO, yep, you're right. And I just like, I'm 70, okay? I came from the old days when it was Shure Vocal Masters with, 8-inch speakers on each side of the stage or something like that. I don't even remember what they had. It was something in that range. And a little 4-channel or 10-channel board and no monitor. Oh, Lord. I just remember all the years growing up playing with the local rock bands and
That's cool. Good insomnia. Is in here? Well, 8:30 is still pretty early. 8:50, right? 8:50. Yeah, most guys are good until noon, until 11. And then it's standby time.
Okay. Well, yeah, come down. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was in last night, but it was the night before, I think. You doing okay? Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, he's over the last clock. Indigestion.
Always did. He didn't watch.
Hey, here I get it fine there, David.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I checked it twice. I had a coil of coin. Maybe that crystal sitting right out of it.
Oh, got rid of the RF?
Yeah, I put more beads on there. That's why they beat. I don't believe those beads. They don't even do anything. They won't do anything.
All right, weird. We just drawn a picture of one here. I'm trying to make me an antenna that I can set on the lock here. Will work on 160. So I'm just looking at things in books and kind of taking a piece from that one and a piece from that one. An idea here and an idea there. Well, the only thing I need to do is pick up my girlfriend. That's all I need. Well, yeah. The barometer is up over 30 inches.
Well, no rain for you.
30.01. Wow. Well, with barometer that high, it's not going to rain.
Mine's looking like about 29.95.
Oh, you're forgetting you live in God's country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
God, I can't believe how fast time goes on this radio.
1 minute to go. Where did time go?
I don't know. I know that I just finally shut down.
The time goes faster the older you get.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Yeah, okay, we got 20 seconds left, so I'll say goodnight. Stay well, take care, and be well. That's the most important part. Stay well. AV7BW, that's 7ZM. Good night.
Okay, my friend, you take care of yourself also, and yes, we'll try it again tomorrow night. Maybe things will be a little bit better. But yeah, 7ZM WV7BW. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, I'm 67, and I think he's 71.
I was about to say, if he's older than you and he can still walk, he's doing good.
Yeah, he's a kiddo compared to you. Yeah, I was on AM today. Well, actually, I was on AM on a mobile Saturday, and this is on 7160. And Saturday mornings, there's a group here in Texas that get together, and they go for about an hour and a half. Man, and one of the guys, I love him to death. He's really interesting to talk to and to listen to. I should really restate that. He's interesting to listen to. But I didn't time him on purpose, Jim. I left the house at a certain time. I always look at my clock, when I'm, going into town to see, if I'm going to be there, what time I'm going to be there, And I never, you know, I got all the way in town. He was still talking. Anyway, I looked at the clock when he unkeyed, and that one single transmission was 14 minutes.
All right.
And it wasn't just dribble either. I mean, this guy's really interesting to listen to. 85 years old, he's done everything. He's had airplanes and motorcycles and been all over the country, you know, and all over the world with his job. And anyway, really interesting to listen to, but man, he can make an old buzzard.
Right. My old Army buddy will be here Wednesday.
Well, good. What are y'all going to do?
45 years.
What are y'all going to do?
We're going kayak on Thursday down the river.
Is he a kayaker?
He's going to be.
Okay.
Let me tell you what he did, man. This is going to blow your mind, dude. He's 69. He'll be 70 here in a couple days. So Paul said. A couple of years ago, 68 it was. Yeah, have you ever heard of the Pacific Crest Trail?
Yeah, you know, Terry hiked that all the way to Canada, you know, Spider.
Well, so did my Ranger buddy at 68.
Holy cow, I think Terry was in his 50s when he did it.
68. And then, you know, and what's really funny is most of our friendship, especially after we got out of those places, Holland, from about 90s, or the early 90s on, when I was up in Crescent City, about that time period, I always outweighed him. And there were several periods of time where I outweighed him significantly. Like, you know, 40 pounds or 50 pounds. So, my road man, so to speak, would have a heavy head. Or, since I was a captain in the military, and I was with him in the military as a captain, Captain Silver. Well, now, for the past couple of years, he outweighs me. So you know, oh, geez, it's on. It has been on. It's relentless. It's like Israel going through Gaza, just leveling his buildings one at a time. So, he'll be here Wednesday. He loves to play pickleball. That's his thing. He's a pickleball fanatic.
Not too many pickleball courts in Abilene or in Tuscola, Texas. I'm sure there are in Abilene.
Well, even we've got a few up here. I'm sure there's some around. There's a lot more popular than I thought. But, man, he plays all the time. I'm talking about he's rated. You know, he plays league fitness. You know, he said, pretty cool. But his parents step up pretty good too. Every time we turn around, he's got, you know, rip this or corn this or, you know. You lost a bunch of weight too, haven't you?
Yeah, in fact, I got on the scales this morning. I'm down to 172, and my goal is 160.
Well, wait a minute, you said 171?
2.
That's what I was, 173. Exactly.
Now, you're a little taller than I am. My goal is 160.
Yeah, I'm 5'11".
You wish. You might have been at one time.
Right. Yeah, I was nervous actually one time. Probably 5'10.5".
It's crazy how we train.
Yeah, that's great though, man. This last year, especially said about a year ago with him. As a matter of fact, my uncle said he was coming Wednesday. He was here last October. Last year. And when we wanted to get sugar down and cut sugar out of our diet, I mean, I've almost eliminated sugar completely. Man, what a shit. It's unbelievable. You ever watch that film?
Man, that guy above us is about 10 kc wide. KL7YK.
Well, I'm looking at the scope and it's just about on the left. It's just like it's a wide open plant field. You don't go from there.
Now let's drop down about 3.
3?
Yeah, 30, what would that be, 38, 19?
I'm sitting there doing that. I could get my pencil. I see that.
38, 19, I'll give you a
Welcome to Circuit Secrets. In today's video, I'm going to port the CB radio VFO code from the Raspberry Pi Pico to an Arduino. Pro Mini. Welcome to Circuit Secrets. In today's video, I'm going to port the CB radio VFO code from the Raspberry Pi Pico to an Arduino Pro Mini. The CB radio VFO I created in this video works great. I have had it installed in my Cobra 21 for almost 5 months and it is still working perfectly. Someone recently gave me a CB with a faulty LED channel display, so I decided to try putting a VFO in it and replacing the display with the VFO's OLED. I checked the parts bin and found I was out of Raspberry Pi Picos. So, for the sake of using what I have, I decided to port the code for the VFO to another microcontroller. The microcontroller I decided to use is the Arduino Pro Mini. Since I have viewers from places with different standards for CB radio than we have here in the US, I decided this would be a great time to modify the new port to make it have roughly the same band range as the old export radios that used to be common. The frequency range of this VFO is 26.055 MHz to 28.305 MHz. After using my previous VFO, I decided that a new version would use an encoder instead of push buttons to change the frequency. If you make and use this VFO, please check the local laws and regulations to ensure you are not transmitting on a frequency or in a mode that is prohibited. To start, I created a build drawing as seen here. I used perf board and wired everything point to point just like the drawing. Once it was assembled, I inspected it for short circuits, then tried running a couple of diagnostic sketches. First, I ran an I2C port scanner similar to the one in this video, but designed for one I2C port. The results were good, and the identifying addresses for the display and the SI5351 were both written to the serial port. Next, I tried an example sketch for the SSD 1306 display, then one for the SI5351. They each worked great. Then I tossed some code together to read the encoder and output the results to the serial port. This worked as well. So the next step with working hardware was to start porting the code. Porting the code from the Raspberry Pi Pico to the Arduino Pro Mini turned out to be quite a challenge. First, I had developed the code to use both cores of the Pi Pico. I also used two I2C ports giving the display and the SI5351 each their own data bus. This meant a lot of the code was split between setup, setup 1, loop, and loop 1. I moved all of the setup 1 code into setup, and I moved all of the loop 1 code into loop. Then I set both devices to use wire, removing a device from wire 1. After these changes, it seemed to run fine. The display worked, and the SI5351 output the appropriate frequency. But there were still a lot of changes to be made. The next step was to add the encoder. I wrote a function to handle the encoder at first without interrupts, just to see if it would work with the menu and channel selection controls. When I uploaded the sketch to the Arduino, the upload would go fine, but the Pro Mini would not display anything. After trying a lot of things and double-checking the hardware with the diagnostic method I used before, I found the problem. The sketch and libraries seemed to be too much for the Arduino Pro Mini, and a conflict was occurring. I'm not sure what the exact conflict was, but all I'm certain of is that when the sketch would take more than 80% of available space, the program would not run. So I stripped the menu system and simplified the code so all the options need to be set in the source code before upload to the board. This got everything working. Of course, the encoder was inconsistent because I was not using interrupts. I added the pin change interrupt to port C, masked it for pins 0 and 1, which are analog pin 0 and analog pin 1. Then I renamed the encoder function as the appropriate interrupt service routine. Once the encoder was working, I modified the code to display the frequency, channel, and set the VFO frequency. I added the ability to reach RC or radio control channels. I then changed the channel limits to allow access to the export bands. A few more tests and it seemed to be working as it should. You can find this VFO packaged with the Pico VFO in a zip file on my website, circuitsecrets.com. In the next video, I will attempt to install this VFO into a CB radio. If you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Circuit Secrets. In today's video, we're going to be working with I2C displays on the Raspberry Pi Pico from the Arduino IDE. In the last video in this series, we covered the basics of I2C on the Raspberry Pi Pico by designing a port scanner. In this video, we're going to set up a display to emulate the display of a VFO for a CB radio. VFO stands for Variable Frequency Oscillator. Eventually, I'm going to be making a VFO that will convert a 6-channel radio into a 40-channel radio. The display we are using is a generic version of the SSD1306. It is a 128 by 64 pixel display. Mine is on an odd address at 0x3c. Most of them are on the address of 0x3d. Now here we go into the code. The code begins by calling the wire library for I2C. Next, we call in the Adafruit library for the SSD1306. Now we define the address for our display. If you are not sure of the address of your display, use the port scanner from my previous video. Next, we create an Adafruit SSD1306 object as display 1. We then pass it the screen width, height, the port information of I2C, and the reset pin. We use -1 to indicate the reset pin is shared with the reset pin of the microcontroller. Next, we come to the variable we will use to indicate the current channel. Now we come to the logo. I created the logo as a JPEG and converted it into hex on a website I will list below in the description. My logo is 64 pixels tall and 88 pixels wide. The bitmap must be converted to hex format to be used with the library and compiled in with the code. We designate it to be stored in program memory so it does not waste precious RAM space. Next, we come to setup, where we first set the pins to be used for I2C on the I2C port 1. Now we initialize the display object. We tell the display object to power on the built-in supply, and we pass into the display object the address of the display. This is in an if not statement, which will begin an infinite loop if the display cannot start. This will prevent the code from advancing if there is a problem with the display or a connection. Next, we clear the buffer of the display and call our draw logo function. Then we delay for 3 seconds so the logo acts as a splash screen. Now we come to the loop. In the loop, we call the display channel and frequency function. Next, we increment the channel variable to emulate changing the channel. If the channel is greater than 40, it is returned to channel 1, like the channel selector on a normal CB radio. Next, we delay for a short duration before the loop repeats. Now we find the draw logo function. This function simply draws our logo on the screen. The first step is to clear the buffer with clear display. Now we tell the display to draw a bitmap. We tell it where we want the horizontal center of our graphic located, with the logo width divided by 2 subtracted from the display width. We repeat the same math for the vertical position with height. Then we tell it the name of the bitmap, followed by the horizontal and vertical size of the bitmap. Next, we output the buffer to the display. Next, we come to the display channel and frequency function. This function takes the channel number as an argument. Inside the function, we create a string to hold the frequency. Then we come to a switch that sets the frequency string to the appropriate frequency based on the channel. Our C channels are dead outputting the channel and the text. Now we print C. Again, we set the text 5x 2526.96 SI5351 showing our text. In the next video in this series, we will be working with the SI5351 on I2C bus to build an actual VFO. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget. Welcome to Circuit Secrets. In today's video, we're going to take another step towards a CB radio VFO. In the past few videos on I2C, we have gotten the display in the SI5351 working. In this video, we're going to add inputs for channel selection and transmit. We're also going to incorporate multi-core programming for performance and add frequency offsets for mixing the VFO signal with other local oscillators. We are still using the same wiring as the signal generator, but now we have added 3 buttons for testing. In the final version, we will replace the transmit button with an optocoupler connected to the transmit switch of a radio. In its current state, the VFO has a standard offset of 10.240 MHz for mixing with a local oscillator on transmit, and additional 455 kHz offset on the receive. The channel selector buttons are working, but calibration and offsets are hard-coded into the sketch. Let's step through the code in its current state. First, we call in the libraries for the I2C, the display, and the clock generator. Next, we set the I2C add the offsets for oscillators from multiple times I2C. Block diagram showing all the setup is used. This spreads the load and allows us fast user input. The functions TX, we initialize the display. For the channel select, if it is true, we call TX for each to determine if we change the delay, and loop 1 is finished. Now we come to and move the button frequency, the information to the display. Set the frequency of the SI, not Hertz, offset frequency, CB radio VFO. If you enjoyed this, welcome to Circuit Secrets. In today's video, we're going to take another step towards a CB. Welcome to Circuit Secrets. In today's video, we're going to be working with I2C displays on the Raspberry Pi Pico from the Arduino IDE. In the last video in this series, we covered the basics of I2C on the Raspberry Pi Pico by designing a port scanner. In this video, we're going to set up a display VFO that will convert pixel display. Next, we call in the Adafruit library for the SSD. Welcome to Circuit Secrets. In today's video, I will be explaining and showing you the rest of the source code for the CB radio VFO. This is a continuation of my series where I show you how to build a CB radio VFO. This series started with an introduction to I2C and takes you through the basics of using an LED display, the SI5351 clock generator, and will eventually lead to the installation of the VFO in an old 6-channel CB radio. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. The source code is available at circuitsecrets.com. It's free of charge and no sign-up is required. In the last video, I showed you the source code and wiring diagram of a working VFO, but now it is improved with a menu that allows calibration of the SI5351 while in operation, and can save and load the calibration settings. The transmit and receive offsets are still hard-coded and must be set at compile time. This was done to avoid adding another switch to allow the large changes in frequency needed for adjusting those settings. Here's the wiring diagram. Now, into the code. First, I added the library for EEPROM emulation on the station with only stores data as byte, and typecast is self-explanatory. It is menu entry and code involved creating a menu system and a submenu for calibration. In the menu, I have 3 elements: calibrate, exit and save, and exit without saving. To operate the menu, I set up control routing from the button presses in loop 1. Menu entry and selection is accomplished by pushing both buttons at the same time. Most of this is done with switch statements. I chose switch statements because they are fairly easy to understand and perfect for the 3 states of buttons and 3-mode menu. I think that code is self-explanatory. It is similar to the other display text used in the video I2C Part 2 working with LED displays. The only other interesting change is in the section for calibration. Most of this section was lifted directly from the example code for the SI5351 from the EtherKit library. If you have any questions, leave a comment and let me know. The fully annotated source code is available for further study at circuitsecrets.com. In the next video, I will attempt to install the VFO .9106BP PLL chip. Welcome to Circuit Secrets. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install an Arduino VFO in a Cobra 21. This is intended for educational purposes only. It is illegal to transmit on certain frequencies in different places. Check your local and national laws before attempting or using these modifications. Now let's get started installing the VFO I designed in this video into a Cobra 21. You can find the source code for the VFO on my website, circuitsecrets.com. A VFO is a variable frequency oscillator. This VFO uses the SI5351 for direct digital synthesis, so this is a DDS VFO. The radio I'm installing it in is the same as the Cobra 25 LTD Classic and uses the TCP9106BP PLL chip. Different years of production use different chips, so confirm your radio has the same PLL before attempting this modification. The first step is to add a couple of components to the VFO. First, I needed to add a 5-volt regulator because the radio operates on 13.8 volts. The VFO requires 3 to 5 volts and any more would cause damage. I added the 5-volt regulator as shown in this diagram. I then added an optocoupler to protect the Arduino from any voltage present on the transmit switch of the radio. I wired the optocoupler to pin 13 as shown in this diagram. I performed this mod on this radio because the LED display had failed and it was a large enough radio to fit the VFO inside the case. This is a photo of the chassis of the Cobra 21 LTD Classic. You can see places where extra components could be installed but are missing here and here. I did not remove those components, but they were only populated at the factory for the Cobra 25 LTD Classic and not the 21. This is because the Cobra 25 has more features such as RF gain. This is a schematic for the Cobra 25 LTD Classic. I used this schematic because there is no schematic available for the 21 LTD Classic. Here you can see the PLL chip. This is the datasheet for the PLL chip. This shows the pinout of the chip. To understand the pinout, you need to know a little bit about PLL chips. They take a binary or binary coded decimal value from the channel selector, which is just a large group of interconnected switches. The channel selector is connected to these pins. As the channel selector changes value, the PLL receives different binary codes called encodes or numeric codes. The higher the value, the higher the frequency, unless it is inverted, such as is the case with some PLL chips. A PLL chip takes these encodes and outputs a signal to control a variable oscillator called a voltage-controlled oscillator, or VCO. The PLL also takes a signal from the reference oscillator. In a typical AMCB radio, the reference oscillator runs at 10.240 MHz. The PLL uses this as a reference to measure feedback from the VCO to perform calculations to ensure it is on the correct frequency. The reference oscillator is also mixed with the VCO signal by the radio in the transmit and receive mixing circuits. This is the reference oscillator in the schematic. This is the VCO in the schematic. This is the transmit mixer chip, which performs direct mixing for the transmit carrier. This section is the receive circuit, which mixes down to the 455 kHz intermediate frequency indirectly in stages. These stages are sets of FETs and IF transformers calibrated with capacitors and adjusted to only pass part of the signal or an intermediate frequency. A frequency from the VCO that is 455 kHz lower than the output of the VCO used for transmit is needed for receive. This is why there are 2 offsets in the variable section of the VFO source code. The PLL chip reads the output of the VCO both to adjust the output of the VCO and to provide a transmit lock feature. The transmit lock is designed to prevent transmitting if the VCO is not functioning properly, to prevent transmitting on unknown or off-limits frequencies. On this chip, the transmit lock is labeled as LD or lock detect. In the datasheet, I find the LD is set low when the PLL is out of lock. Low logic state is considered ground. High state is whatever the PLL runs on. I believe in this case the PLL runs on 7 volts. With this information, on the schematic I can show you the plan to install the VFO. This is the VCO, so I will remove the transformer that is the last stage of its circuit before mixing. I will sever the PLL's connection to the VCO so it does not wildly change its voltage trying to lock, which could generate unwanted noise. I will sever the connection between the LD pin and the rest of the circuit. I will run a jumper from the PLL's supply voltage to the circuit normally controlled by the lock detector pin. First I will remove the channel selector and display. Next, I cut away the mounting surface for the channel selector. Then I marked, drilled, and cut a piece of metal to act as the display retainer for the OLED and the mounting point for the encoder. I cut a piece of an old mouse pad as a flexible backing pad to hold the OLED in place. Next, the board had to be modified to make it ready for the VFO. Many parts could have been removed, but I tried to keep the installation as simple as possible with the fewest modifications possible. I will start from the PLL chip where most of the modifications are made. This is the pinout from the datasheet of the TC9106BP. First I had to locate the output to the VCO and cut the trace. This is just a precaution to ensure the VCO does not seek and generate excess noise on the power buses. The oscillator out pin is labeled as XO. Next I have to bypass the transmit lockout pin of the PLL and set the output to high. The transmit lockout pin is labeled LD for lock detector. I bypass it by removing the jumper and installing a wire from the voltage supply of the PLL to the circuit that was connected to the jumper. The final modification is to remove the final stage transformer of the VCO. This disables the output of the VCO and gives a perfect connection point for the output of the VFO. Now I prep the VFO for install by wrapping it in some shrink tubing I cut to size and then glue it to form an envelope. I heat the shrink tube on the VFO. Now I add a capacitor to the output coax of the VFO. I needed to use a capacitor because there's DC present on the bus that carries the VCO signal. Once this is done, there are only 4 connections to attach the VFO. Power positive, the ground, transmit sense, and the VFO output. I make these connections as shown. Next, I mount the display and encoder. The final results are this. The frequency counter shows it is on frequency. Finally, a radio check to confirm it's working. Hello.
Hello.
All right, that's all I need. Thank you.
Yep, sounds good up here. Really good.
10-4, I'll see you on 14.
Right, I'm done.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you see the next video. I am not an expert on CB radios, but I believe this information is accurate. If I made any
mí me gustan los animales, tenerlos en mi casa, acariciarlos, verlos.
Oh, they're really cool.
Well, I'll see how my back's doing, but I think I'm gonna go out to the garage and see if I can polish the wheels up on my new hot rod, and we'll see what happens. I don't know if I can do it or not.
On the charger, and I go on yonder and sleep on the couch, so I don't always hear it. So I don't know, and I don't. I need to reboot it before I go to bed, though, because I don't think it's ringing at all. Okay, let me reboot it, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow. 85 BC.
And I don't know if it's been a great sport, that seems like a good accolade. But I do love the American accent that the Scottish accent. It's very entertaining. I really need to practice my American accent, but I'm not going to put you through it this evening. But I will one day. Anyway, moving on. We are definitely in autumn. It's a lot cooler. We're 11 degrees Celsius this morning, which is about 48 degrees Fahrenheit, cloudy, and a lot of rain about, on and off, and quite dark as well. It's definitely getting dark early in the evenings, around about 7:30 now. It's pitch black, and I think we're about 4 weeks away from our daylight saving as well, with our clock. I think it's fall back, yes, always get confused by this, yes, it's fall back, so we kind of lose an hour in the winter, which is, no, we don't, we gain an hour in the winter, think it is. Yeah, confused myself with this, but basically, yes, we do gain an hour, so it's like, it's 5 o'clock, say it's 5 o'clock just now, it becomes 6 o'clock, that's what it's called, and stubborn now as well. And today is the first day of the working week for us. We've had a holiday weekend. It was lovely. We were off yesterday. School was off as well. And really just
Thank you. This is Sierra 21 Lima Tango, calling from Bangladesh, group 91. One
and there's a
Sierra
program
21 Lima Tango.
And it's basically Strictly Come Dancing, and these kind of celebrities do dancing with professional dancers, and you watch them week on, week out, get better or worse, and then someone gets eliminated each week. Well, that basically started on Saturday, that programme, and my son, he really enjoys it. He's only
Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango, calling from Bangladesh, group 91 worldwide. Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango, calling.
His birthday weekend. My son's got, he is going to be 10 on Sunday, so that's all very exciting. And there'll be a big family meal with his gran and papa and aunties and uncles. So yeah, we're going to have to get organized for that very soon.
S21 ALT, this is K1JTV.
Anyway, thank you very much, John, for letting me come into the net this evening. Great to hear
Kilo
everyone.
number 1, Juliet Tango Bravo, this is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango, returning. Thank you, brother. My call. You are 559. My handle is Javed Zulu Alpha Victor Echo Delta. My GPS Joshua. Bangladesh, my local time 10:53 Alpha. My temperature is 31 degree Charlie. Kilo number 1, Juliet Tango Bravo, this is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango.
In my weather doctor, but we sometimes call this
Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango, Kilo 1 Juliet Tango Bravo, roger, roger. Nice to meet you as well, sir. I'm CTH, Tennessee, and I'm speaking to you on a ComJot CJ1. It's actually like a cell phone radio, Android platform through a 5-star MMDVM simplex hotspot. Your audio is coming through, however, there's I believe there's some packet loss or something skipping a little bit because it's kind of cutting in and out every other word. So K1 GTV back to you. Sierra 21 ALT.
But it maybe I would
Kilo number 1, Juliet Tango Bravo, this is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango returning. I am transmitting for analog and radio to a all-star link server with his network for tonight. The analog to digital data interface called by detailing with development by Sierra 21 Delta Bravo Alpha. I am using my analog AC radio Reticate RT95 and my AC is Reticate RT Fiber. Reticate RT Fiber. Thank you, brother. This time is short here. Please use final. Kilo number 1, Juliet Tango Bravo, this is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango.
Walk around like John Muir, the naturalist out there. World's a big place. I want to see as much of
Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango, roger, roger. 73, sir, have a good night. I'll go ahead and log this in QRV.com. Thanks for the QSO, and we'll see you down the log. K1 JP.
And folks, let's see, is that it? My reading glasses back on. I was waxing.
K1 Juliet Tango Bravo, Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango, 73, bye-bye, down on the log.
But I'll start the third round, which normally in the way my net tends to run.
Well, we have two
usually I have like 3 long rounds, and that's pretty much enough.
Something to keep the night off. Something to keep my light off.
So I'm going to start the third and possibly last round. Roman numeral 3.
Calling from Bangladesh, group 91.
On Broadway and
Sierra
Seattle,
21 Alpha Lima Tango, calling from Bangladesh, group 91. Stand by
for
and
Halloween,
listen.
that will be X-rays to children willingly.
Have to wait till
But that's not for another month. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that is a fast there,
we're going to bring. We don't know.
Usually fall in there.
Possibly 2 stars would not recommend. But let's get the third round
I'll hold
going.
for a while here.
Possibly last call. Please come now.
Hello, Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango, calling. Sierra number 2, number 1, Alpha Lima Tango, calling from Bangladesh, group 91.
Station, please.
Just everything to do with it for the phone.
Romeo Alpha X-ray. Santa Cruz. you're in and out, Peter. You know, you start saying kilo. I hear your voice, but then when it gets to the kilo echo 6, I've already written REX and Peter. But I'm not complaining. I wish most are supposed
Hello,
to
this
wait
is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango calling from Bangladesh, group 91.
Peter. Thank you for stopping
This is
by.
Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango calling.
K3OE.
K3OE. Isn't that rich? All right.
You don't have an answer, okay?
Operator, please.
Kilowatt Bravo 5 Tango Whiskey Golf, Tony.
Oscar Mike Oscar.
IO, please.
November 3, Oscar Mike
Sierra
Oscar.
21 Alpha Lima Tango calling from Bangladesh, group 91 using analog radio.
I've got Kilo Bravo 5 Tango Whiskey Golf. Tony is an IO. Thank you for stopping by, Tony. And I also got November 3 Oscar Mike Oscar Elaine in Zephyr Hills, Florida. More stations, please. Last call.
Sierra number 2, number 1, Alpha Lima Tango calling from Bangladesh, group 91.
More stations.
Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango calling. We had days where it was just back-to-back phone calls, one after another. What time you know, where are you located? And or a bunch of questions
Well, it's the Prince.
about how to fix this and that and the other thing. But yeah, well, if you need to fix it, bring it here. You know, where you don't, we don't teach people how to fix stuff over the phone. It's unreal how many people ask all those kinds of questions.
And so, and as such, the third and final round is so.
S21 Alpha Lima Tango. This is Kilo India 5 Mike Echo Foxtrot. Yeah, we copy here in Texas, here in the USA. I have to mention the cuckoo sound. That's so unusual to hear that on digital. So obviously it seems like they're going through a repeater. Back to you.
Back at you with appropriate
Get their answer right quick.
to create modulation.
Mike Echo Foxtrot, this is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango returning. Thank you very much for receiving my call. My handle is Javed, Zulu Alpha Victor Echo Delta. My duty is Joshua, Bangladesh. US 559, 59. My current time is 10.56. Alpha Mike, temperature 31 degrees Celsius. I am a transmit for analog handle radio to a all-star link server with 3 megahertz configuration. The analog to digital radio interface called by DJ link is development by Sierra 21 Delta Bravo Alpha. I am using my analog AC radio, Redifuse RT fiber. Please your decision update. Kilo India number 5, Mike Echo Foxtrot. This is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango.
They're going to do police to starting. So they wanted a couple.
Well, your audio is certainly good, and your English is very good. I've dealt with a lot of, back when I was with the phone company, I dealt with a lot of people from that part of the world, Bangalore, India, and they really took a lot over the English. They had a hard time with understanding them quite a bit. So you're in that area of the world. But anyway, that whole audio setup works real well over fiber, and a conversion from analog to digital in some other facility. It's about 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes before midnight here in Central Time in the USA. The temperature is 78 degrees. We're just beginning fall. Summer's still hanging on a little bit, but we're starting to get some fall weather approaching. We need some rain. We're in a drought. Always drought and occasional flood. So anyway, I'm retired now for a few years and enjoying the hobbies that I always wanted to get more into. So anyway, great having a chat with you. I believe your name says it's, well, it was on the screen. It's not on there now. But I think you said you spelled out your handle. I didn't quite catch it all, but this is Dave in Austin. Back to you, KF5MES.
So the rules of evidence are quite different between civil and criminal.
Kilo India number 5, Mike
legal proceedings.
Foster. This is Sierra 321 Alpha Lima Tango. Thank you, brother. I am happy for your signal. Your signal also 559. I am sending for Kyoto. You are the podcast. This time is short Kyoto. Thank you. Kilo India number 5, Mike Foster. This is Sierra 321 Alpha Lima Tango. 73, bye-bye. How much you love?
The senior housing.
Okay, 73 MD to Chavez, I think, is what it says on the screen. Anyway, hope you catch it again down the line. 73.
Books. And unfortunately, my Roberts rule was one that I forewent for the move. So, yeah, sometimes I wish I still had it, just like right now at the moment, giving me flashbacks, student government in high school, and
Sierra 21, Alpha Lima Tango. This is Kilo Quebec 4, India Charlie Romeo, KQ4 ICR. Do you copy?
High school with barely, 500 and...
Kilo Quebec number 4, India Charlie Romeo. This is Sierra 321 Alpha Lima Tango. You are 559. Thank you, brother. You received my call. My handle is Jacket, Zulu Alpha Victor Echo Delta. My QPS Joshua, Bangladesh. My local time 11.00 Alpha Mike, temperature area 31 degrees Charlie. Kilo Quebec number 4, India Charlie Romeo. This is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango. Kyoto?
Alright, so Peter, KE6RAX is an IO. And that brings us to Rich, K3OE. Rich, 88, 19th century 88 to you, and tell us what your projects are and if you're going to be at the Rain or Shine coming up. I've missed most of them this year, and even possibly all
Charlie Romeo, this is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango. Dear friend, I received my call.
Good evening, Joe. Great to hear your voice. Well, I do have a project I'm working on, and I think you'll be kind of interested in this one. I don't need another mixer, but I found another Behringer in 802. It was so cheap because there was no power supply for it. So anyway, I picked that up, and I just downloaded the schematics.
Sierra 21, Alpha Lima Tango. You copy on Whiskey 9, Delta Hotel. Whiskey 9, Delta Hotel.
Is a center tap AC transformer.
Whiskey number 9, Delta Hotel. This is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango. You have 559. There's a Whiskey number 9, Delta Hotel. This is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango.
Own little power supply for this thing. So, and I'm not going to modify it in any way. It has kind of a unique connector on it, but I'm not going to even use that.
Roger, you are 5'9" as well in the Midwest here in the U.S. We're about 30 miles west of Chicago.
I'll be good to go.
And you're in loud and clear. So things are going well for you. And I thought I'd jump in there and say hi.
$40 for a real Behringer power supply.
Sierra 21
Back to you,
ALP, W9DH.
Well, of course, you could afford it.
Number 9, Delta Hotel. This is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango returning. Thank you, brother. I am transferred from analog angle radio through a horizontal line server with this network continuity. The analog to digital radio interface called by DTLA with development by Sierra 21 Delta Bravo Alpha. I am using my analog AC radio. Ready with RT fiber. Ready with RT fiber. Please your information. And my local time is 11.02 Alpha Mike. Temperature area 31 degrees Celsius. Please your decision update. Whiskey number 9. There's a hotel.
Destroyer.
Sierra 51 Alpha Lima Tango.
Filters. Yeah, maybe it was just feedback destroyer filters. And the DSP 110 called the Behringer Sharks, and they have the weird power supply voltage.
You're at 21 Alpha Lima Tango, Whiskey 9 Delta Hotel.
I have
Very good.
supplies
That's a
that go
good
with
setup.
them.
We're running an Anytone 878 here. Just a portable wing talkie with a Zoom Spot Elite hot spot. And I'm down in the basement with the rest of my ham shack. Just got done talking on a net. And doing some logging work here, and we're doing it. So, at any rate, thanks for coming back to my call. I will put you in QRZ, and I hope you have a great evening. 73. Sierra 21 ALC, W9DH. I'll be off and clear.
But then my favorite that I use is my Mackie TFX.
Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango 73
which
down on below.
Put it numerically is a 16 by 4 by 2 plus 2 plus 2.1. All those numbers mean something, folks.
I don't know if I told you that my sister-in-law died last night. Well, 4:30 this morning, yesterday morning.
Channels in and 2 channels out. So they're nice little doodads, Rich.
No, I didn't hear that. But,
yeah, it's just all the things I could have written down.
My condolences to you there, man.
I did write many things down, but I'll just stop there. Take care, Rich. Good to hear from you. I can't wait to see pics of your project and maybe show and tell.
My dearly departed wife, sister.
Take care, Rich.
Her husband died a long time ago. He's one of the ones that I think I mentioned before who had a knee replacement.
I think when you're going to leave, though.
The old style where they took the head of the knob of the knee off and they put a
IO from Tony, which I
stainless steel
sign is Kilo Bravo 5 Tango Whiskey Golf.
pocket in there for the knee and they drive it down into the stone.
We have our last station of the net is our friend Elaine.
Happens to
November 3, Oink.
my guy's best friend Red.
33 Elaine. And
he talks about Red all the time. Happened to him and happened to my brother-in-law.
How many miles? 1.
Had a knee replacement done and then unleashed cancer and they're all dead within a year.
4, 5.
I've spoken to you one time before. It was nice to talk to you again. How was you?
We're not really
This is Elaine in
good
the
choice.
a.k.a.
Alpha Lima Tango returning
US
559. My handle is David. Zulu Alpha Victory 4 Delta. My duty is Joshua, Bangladesh. This is Kolkata border side of West Bengal. You are also 559 my local time is 11.6 Alpha Mike. Temperature is 31 degree Celsius. I have transmitted from an analog handheld radio to a all-star link server, which is this network Safari. The analog to digital radio interface called by CBA link with development by Sierra 21 Delta Bravo Alpha.
No problem.
I am using my analog DC radio, not fiber. Rating is RT fiber. And my all-star link number node is connected by room number 59860598864. This is output connected for a all-star link and my connect for a digital voice. You are also 559 and please your station update. Whiskey Sierra number 1 Mike and Sierra 51 Alpha Lima Tango.
The 2 steps to go down to the next level of the house where Rob has his office. And it's so funny.
Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango, you are full fighting 59 here in Boston. Your gateway is working well. So congratulations on setting that up. I am using MMDVM based hotspot and I'm speaking on the Anytone UV7H the 2 model. I am somewhat familiar with your show. Been there many years ago. One of my trips to Bangladesh. This must be a good time of the year there with the Pujo time, with lots of celebrations and lots of sweets going around. So I do get back about the season in that part of the world. Hope you are enjoying all the festivities. Back to you. This is Bobby Whiskey Sierra 1.
It's frantically erasing.
Whiskey Sierra number 1, Mike. This is Sierra T1 Alpha Lima Tango. Returning. এবারে দুর্গা পূজা শুভেচ্ছা আপনাকে, পাশাপাশি আপনাকে বাংলাদেশে বেড়াতে আসার জন্য অনুরোধ জানাচ্ছি। ওয়েলকাম টু মাই কান্ট্রি ভিজিট। I am sending for Kyoto your QRZ.com. You must be confirmed now. Whiskey Sierra number 1, Mike. This is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango 73. Bye-bye.
2025, 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. net. Thanks to the Sound Repeater Group for the usage of this repeater. For more
Sierra
information
21 Alpha Lima Tango. This is Whiskey Sierra 1 Mike.
Strangely enough, PSRG.org. The PSRG have been hosting daily nets for well over 30 years. The nets are a great opportunity to test through equipment. Remember, if you don't test through equipment, you can't hear you. I'm now returning the repeater to normal operation. This is Joan KXTCW signing off at 10:09 p.m. Good evening.
Last calling station, please go ahead. This is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango calling from Bangladesh. Last calling station, this is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango calling from Bangladesh. Stop group 91.
Good night.
Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango, this is Victor Uniform 3 India X-ray Victor. Over.
Victor Uniform number 3 India X-ray Victor. This is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango returning. Thank you, brother. I received my call. You are 559. My handle is Jacket Zulu Alpha Victor Echo Delta. My duty is Joshua. My local time is 11:12 Alpha Mike, temperature area 31 degrees Celsius. I am transmit from analog handle radio through a all-digital link server with brief network concept. The analog to digital data interface called by DEPT'S with development Sierra 21 Delta Bravo Alpha. I am using my analog AC radio, DEPT'S RT fiber. Thank you, brother. I received my call. Please your station update. Victor Uniform number 3 India X-ray Victor. This is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima.
Okay, Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango, this is VU3 India X-ray Victor returning. Okay, my dear friend is Awad from Bangladesh. I am operating from Kerala, South India, and I am quoting you 59, good copy. Okay, my handle is Muji, VU3, VUS 021 Alpha Lima Tango, this is VU3 India X-ray Victor.
Well,
uniform number 3, India X-ray Victor, this is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango returning. Thank you brother, this must thank you for 40 on network. Clean your final and confirm I am sending for QSO.com and please your final. Victor uniform number 3, India X-ray Victor, this is Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango.
And then they're going to have to fix the other side.
I think I'm gonna have to hit yours.
Well, I've given them a chance of 2 more places.
Yamargan, the other one is the other one. Okay, anyway, thanks for the short video. Have a nice day. 70 much.
Which I almost did today. Otherwise,
Uniform number 3, India X-ray Victor, Sierra 21 Alpha Lima Tango 73, bye-bye.
I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, but I managed to get my chores done some today.
I got something done, sounds like. Huh. Yeah, so I heard it was raining up there today. You out in the rain also?
Oh yeah, big huge drops decided they were going to pour, and I didn't realize it until after I came out. Immediately stuck up my hood on my sweater, which is a good thing I was wearing it today. And I wasn't expecting the workers then to be down the road and doing their thing in the rain, so weird timing for that.
Okay, great fun. Perfect storm for you.
Yeah, but at least I survived. So how are you and your squirrel buddies?
Oh, they're doing great. I got one called Tiny, because she's tiny. About half the size of the other squirrels. And I don't know if she's a midget squirrel or if that she just hasn't grown up to a full-size squirrel, but she's cute as a button. And then Rocky came up to the door and wanted peanuts, and I gave him peanuts. And he got me up. He's got me trained pretty good, by the way. You know, come up to the door and stand up and look in at me. And, oh man, okay, I'm coming. So he's a good squirrel. He's been taking peanuts from my fingers again. So it's kind of neat. But he likes me and he trusts me. He's a good squirrel.
Oh, at least you got some good squirrels there. And one is called Tiny. Sounds like a neat squirrel. Well, hopefully they're all enjoying the nuts you're giving them, and you've got decent weather there for them yet, so that's good. But we just started the rainy season, so I don't know what's going to follow next. Probably cold, maybe some wind. I don't know what will come next. And yeah. But I know one thing, I'm still in one piece, so I want to keep it that way.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I have a tablet that has my weather radar on it for the West Coast. I can see the weather coming in and hitting Seattle and that. And it looks like we're going to get some rain too here. It's like almost turning in a circle like a cyclone. You know, but it's, I can see it coming in at you guys, and then I can see on the bottom of its tail end that's going to sweep over the area here in a few days. So we'll see what happens. Even though my weather report doesn't say it's going to rain, but I just kind of wonder.
Yeah, well, we definitely got it. That's for sure. All that wonderful rain. Oh, kitty gravy commercial. Cute.
Kitty grass, yeah, kitty food commercials. Yeah, some of those cat commercials are pretty funny. Pretty neat.
Yep, I've never seen a cat quite that color. It looks almost light brown, almost caramel looking. Beautiful cat. I think it's a marble, but I could be wrong. But interesting commercial for putting a cat in, but okay, it was cute.
DW hard drive for Rebecca, KK7IJZ, because she's been sick lately, and let's see, Joan, I don't have any jokes for her, so I'll just have to wait till I'm filled up with jokes, and then I can get her with one. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. Or maybe it'll just be me, just saying hi, and whatever. Yeah, you can tell I've had a good day today.
Yeah, you sound really perky, like you had a good day. Yeah, and Joan got to see the picture of your desk that you have there. That looks really nice. I like the way your desk looks. Oh, excuse me. I like the way your desk looks. Yeah, well done on that.
Yeah, it looks good. The only problem is that I am still going to have to switch those two ends because they're not in the right place. Otherwise, I'll have to have somebody come in that would know how to do it and put another hole where it doesn't belong in order for avoiding switching them. But if I can just get that one screw out and then switch them over and then just put all the screws back and put a new one in a place of the one that's stripped by mistake, I think it'll be fine then. But I haven't been wanting to put too much weight on there because I don't want it to do anything I don't want it to do, because then I'd have to reconstruct it. So everything else seems snug as a bug in a rug. I'm just not sure now how I'm going to fix those two. I'm not inclined to put this down to the floor again.
I thought I heard Joan mention something about coming over, and it might be good to get her take on it and what she thinks. What do you think of that?
Yeah, she can look at it when she's got time and stuff to see what I did. That's not a problem. I just need to tidy up this house before anyone shows up, because I kind of need to get a couple of things off the floor and, maybe hide my laundry into a machine so that it can be cleaned, that kind of thing. I kind of want it to be neat and tidy before people show up. That way they can say, hey, cool, neat place. And yeah, this thing does make this place look more roomy. So we'll see how it goes whenever I can figure out how I'm going to fix those two ends.
Yeah. Well, it looks pretty nice. I like the picture of it, that's for sure. It looks, really good. But, yeah, just a small tweak you still got to do on it, and you'll be good to go. And that, yeah, I've been wanting to clean my place up, but my back's been going out on me lately, which is very annoying. But, so hopefully tomorrow it won't do that. I can just get some stuff done. But, what was I going to say,
This is K7MCH monitoring.
But, yeah, so I think that desk that you bought was definitely a nice piece of art. Almost like art. The way that thing looks.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they went pretty fast across my screen. N1 was a DLS. Good evening. This is K7MCH in Arizona. How you doing? Well, I'm doing pretty good. The call here is November 1, Lima Zulu Foxtrot, or if you want, November 1, Red Zeppelin Call. Name is Mike here. I'm located in Mike Alpha, Massachusetts. And I just installed the Neo encoder for Drugstore, and testing it on my phone, and it seems to be working on DMR. I'm very glad it is. And Back to you. This is Mark.
Until maybe November, December, or wait until next year and get shelving, so that I can put all my horses on it and some pictures and whatnot. So that's next on the list to do.
Yeah, it sounds like a good plan. Yeah, you get somebody to look at it. You know, maybe Joan can come over just free time and take a look at it. And that's a good excuse for Rebecca and Joan to come over. You know, and show up, and then we can, you guys have lunch there together and look at the desk and see what they think. That sounds like a pretty good plan. Maybe 600.
Yeah, because if I ever want to go on the top of it instead of using it as storage on the top, I am going to have to get those two pieces figured out first. And that way I don't have to worry about the structural integrity of it. And then I can go ahead and do it either way, storage or turn around and snooze up there whenever I'm not snoozing them on the other one. I got plenty of places to snooze. Not short on that.
Yeah, no, I see your point. Yeah, it's just
A very short time. Only 34 years. Down the genre. And like to use the like, also that. Hello, this is K7MCH. Yeah, I've been around since 1991. My first call when I became a technician was N7VX, and when I upgraded to General, I changed my call to K7MCH because of my initials with my name, Mark Christopher Herman. But anyway, yeah, what about, I'm looking at the dash of my van because I'm parked in my my driveway here, and I'm talking on an HP. So 66 degrees. But yeah, we are kind of warm. I'm pretty sure here in Keenan it's cool, but down there in Bulkhead City, where it's 500 foot of a sea level and everything, it's still in the hundreds down there for the high. So that should give you an idea of what's going on. We're at about the 90s, they get hundreds, because they're down low, with the lower elevation and everything. So it's not bad. It's getting cool.
Stuff or the garbage, what do they call it, dumpster. And just around the corner. In the back. Yeah. So I took the crate out for it, and
it might get rains again, I don't know. I'm going to feel for it rains, and I'm going to get the car and stuff there. And then I'm going to see about going to vacuum out with one of the free vacuums that they got out there, and then get the car washed and stuff like that, because I wasn't able to use my car during the winter because I was in the hospital, and stuff. Well, I'm so glad to be home. And,
the tires kind of bald on it?
Yeah, I remember something about that. I try a lot of things and everything else, satellites and other things, and FTA, of course, and I worked all states, and DFCC, all the FTA, using WSG, WSJT-X. It's a very nice program and stuff, and since you're a general, rock and roll and stuff like that. Oh, it took me about 2 years and 4 months to get local states. Some people it takes them a few weeks. Well, me, it took me a few years. But the thing is, I'm having fun. So I'm in no hurry. And I finally got Alaska to confirm on voice and then something else and stuff. But back to you, Mark. Everyone else there.
Okay, Mike, yeah. I'm here in Kingman, Arizona, and I'm living in a one-bedroom studio right now, so I can't put any wonderful HS antennas up. But not too long ago, about 7-8 years ago, I lived in Golden Valley, and I had a ball out there. And yes, I did FT8, PSK 31 packet, HF packet. It was great. I had a really cool 80-meter loop strung, and with the auto tuner, it didn't matter where I went. It worked great. And it didn't matter if I was on CW phone or digital. It was great. But right now I'm sort of limited. I'm like living off of radio in my van. You know, I got a QRP rig with an antenna that's in my van, and I got a buddy that's got a hot spot about a block away, and I'm getting on this. And this is new to me, by the way. I'm thinking I'm gonna like take the plunge and buy myself a Raspberry Pi and a hotspot and put something that I can travel around with, and I'll have a ball. Anyway, back to you, Mike. This is K7NCH in King.
Like you said, just keep an eye on it. Check it tomorrow.
Okay, Mark. I'm going to recommend the radio for you because you can get an app that will do D-Start. And it connects up with the Kenwood PH Tango Hen -V75. This is a terminal modem in the D-Start section. And you can use the phone and the HT all-in-one it says a hotspot itself. You can go to all the reflectors and everything and it's wonderful. The D-Star. This is DMR. And stuff, and okay, it's very it would be something in my research. I've heard, people have been, it's great. I got 5 hotspots that I put on a board, and it's all do it yourself. And 3 of them are Zoom spots, the other 2 I was able to get the small punch zeros, and we decided to die at the 2 transceivers that I had were still working. So I put them in the regular Raspberry Pis, and they were great and stuff. So very good. And throughout time I did what I needed to do to get it done to work very, very well and stuff. And the project took about a good week because I don't let the glue set on the board and on the hotspot. All Zoom spots, they all use my stuff. And stuff, and I got 2 distribution and 1 on the box.
And I'll tell you, it is tremendous and stuff. And I'm using Droid, Droid stuff. And it's proven that I was able to download the VO code for it.
Okay, sounds good. I'll talk to you later. 6MB.
Alright, 7-3, my friend. KJ7, EXM.
Like I tried playing with that, I forgot what it was called, the Droid app and everything. And I even went to the Facebook site, and I discussed what I wanted to do with digital. And some guy came back to me and said, "You're not going to talk to anyone." And I got like, I turned off on it. So I gave up on that. I do love this Brandmiester DMR server, and it's great. So far I've been having nothing but fun. So I think I'm going to stick to that and get myself a Raspberry Pi and an access point. And I'm not even going to get full duplex. So it's just a regular simplex access point, and I'll be happy. I can take it around in my car, or take it around to work or whatever. It'll be great. I could just play with the handheld and just go right through my hotspot and call it good. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. I like you, huh? I like these stuff. I like these stuff. Like, that's great. I decided, okay, I'm going to try this out. It's working real good. And the other app, let me see if I can find it here. I can let you know.
I've seen people flying down the road on those with no helmets. Wow, there's some real daredevils in town. Back to you, Sean.
That's roughly what it is. Only with one on each side of the chair, with the smaller wheels front and back.
Stuff, everything, and if you decide to get that radio, it's beautiful radio. It's beautiful review style. It's beautiful with analog and stuff. And DMR is very clear and very nice and stuff. And I don't know about those three modes and stuff. So I'm going to try the other types of modes as well and see what I could do with voice stuff and everything. So, but just like when I was in
but yeah, it's not bad weather friendly at all.
Yes. Yeah, I'm like on a learning curve when it comes to digital and everything. I mean, in the past I played with an old ancient radio that a buddy set up for me with his like programming cables and stuff that he made, which was like an old Motorola Astro Saber that was set up for me. But other than that, this is new to me. This is like an ancient radio from what I understand. This is a K1D, what is it, K1DMU, KD1MU. There you go. DM4R. That's what I'm using. That's like a Chinese reject radio that is hitting me on digital, and I'm not complaining because I spent less than $50 to get on the air.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Hear my radio for $50. I gotta write that down. Everything when it comes back to you, you can let me know what it is. And just kind of sitting the things right. And stuff, because I'm going to look into that, because I only got one DMR radio. I've got lots of new stuff. I've got 2 radios for C4FM. And I'm going to get another DMR radio handheld and stuff. So back to you, and let me know what it is, if you do something. Back to you. I can also.
Okay, Mike, if you go to KD1MU, just do a Google search for that and go to their website. The guy has like new radios that he's getting rid of for like, I think they're like $50, and then for like something like 49, I think. Maybe it's like $60 for the brand new one. He's got refurbished ones where I guess like people sent back the radios and everything, and they refurbished them for like $59 he's selling them, or something like that. If you look KD1MU and look on their website, I'm sure you can find one of those cheap HTs like what I have, the DM4R. I believe it's called the DM UV4R. There you go. And it's made by iRadio, a company that's over in China and everything.
Okay, my copy is KD1MU. I think I know him. He lives here in the area. And KDMUV4R. It's iRadio. Okay, I think I got it now. Am I good with that? How about you?
You sound pretty darn close. And yeah, you probably do know the guy because I believe he is over there now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let me see. Let's see what comes up. Okay, what is, there's this radio store. Comes right up. First option. Yeah. It's not. Come on. Come on. Here we go. TV1MU radio. Shotgun modes, resources, content, about. And shop here. No, I'm sorry. See what he has. What did he say? Oh, 20, yeah. 20 amp local battery. $59. Oh, that sounds good. And see some of the, this is the DM4R. So, the thing is going to let me do video. Yep, to go through done by iRadio. And stuff, and another refund this. Then I'll fill on new radio. The 49. This is pretty darn good. Let me know about this. Back to you, Mark. Everyone else, Mike.
Yeah, roger that, Mike. Anyway, to make a long story short, I have a buddy of mine that I talked to. It's a block away, and he has a couple of DMR repeaters set up. I donated one of the radios for it, which is like an icon repeater and everything, and he's got it wired in, and he has another one that's got, I forgot what radio he's using, and then he has a third setup that has like a hotspot. But he had one laying around us that he bought about almost a year ago, and because I was having issues with one of the radios that I bought, because I bought it off CHINO. I don't know if you're familiar with CHINO and everything. I had issues with it, and he said, well, I asked him, I said, well, what do you do with this one that's laying around? He actually sold me one that he had for, sitting in the charger for about a year for $40, and I had no problem with that.
Oh, that's cool. I'm taking a look at some of the some stuff here. There's some nothing stuff, everything. You found this one, it's $49. $10 off. Oh, that's nice. All the reasons you can they've all got sleep protectors on them. It includes the programming gear. Cool. I like that. Make it really things such as a broken antenna and etc. But hey,
I shall remember that, and I will do what I can to
some of these are very good. And see the programming tables on that, and it said yes. I probably see if I can contact him and probably go see it. Everything. Like that. And let's see that for albums on one. Oh yeah, he's got the program software in software too. He's got it for the DM4R, the UV5518 Plus, and Redis RT27. Oh, that's a repeater. Oh, wow. And batteries? Let's see what we got there.
Would anyone else out there like to bend my ear before I turn the radio off and take a snooze?
That would be nice. Because I've done with the several, with my item 705, I was able, I did, polar parks on the air, and that's a wonderful thing to do, and stuff like that. And looking like that, you guys got a lot of state, number parks there. Everything else like that, and you can go out and everything like early in the morning or late in the evening or something, or during the day when it's nice and cool and stuff. I mean, with humidity, you get so much to what you can do, and it's endless.
Well, roger that, Mike. The only downfall with this radio, the con, is the amount of memory that it has. What my buddy was trying to describe to me and everything, is if they get a whole bunch of more radio users for the contact list and everything, I might not have enough memory to hold it. Where I think they have 20,000 contacts and everything. If they go past that, my ID may not display on the display. I'll be just saying the radio ID rather than the name and the QTH of everybody that comes across, unless it's somebody that's actually on the contact list, where everybody is trying to grab this 878 radio that they think is like awesome and everything, and all these other ones with more memory. But other than that, it's a great performing HD.
Well, it's been nice. I've got to get going because I've got to take my meds and get to bed and everything. Because it's 1:49 here in the morning here in Massachusetts. You're probably either 12 or 11:49 on Route 50.